Former Senator and presidential candidate Mike Gravel passed away over the weekend. We just wanted to briefly talk a little bit about his legacy, some of the things that he did. I mean, he's largely known for like reading literally thousands of pages of the Pentagon Papers into the Congressional Record, which would like that sort of thing would be huge now. Doing that 50 years ago or so, even bigger. So that's pretty amazing. He had this to say near the end: "I'm the fellow that ended the draft. I'm the one that stopped the nuclear testing in the North Pacific. I'm the one that brought about the Alaska pipeline. I'm the one that released the Pentagon Papers and had to go to the Supreme Court because Richard Nixon was trying to throw me in jail. That's what I did 28, 29, 30 years ago. That was leadership then, and I was excoriated by the media at that point. I was a loose cannon. Well, right today, I've had the good fortune to live this long, and people look back and say, my God, were you a courageous leader? Well, that's the leadership you'll get when I become president of the United States. Now, can the American people stand that kind of leadership? That remains to be seen. So obviously that didn't happen, of course. And he's certainly a bold one anyway. Yeah, I want to just give a couple of these quotes that we had culled for this. So on the Pentagon paper says, people, human beings are being killed as I speak to you tonight, killed as a direct result of policy decisions that we as a body have made. Arms are being severed. Metal is crashing through human bodies because of a public policy. This government, at that point, he began to sob. One may respond that we have made such a sacrifice to preserve freedom and liberty in Southeast Asia. One may respond that we sacrifice ourselves on the continent of Asia so that we will not have to fight a similar war on the shores of America. One can make these arguments only if he has failed to read the Pentagon Papers. That is the terrible truth of it all." And then of course goes on to read so much of it in the Congressional Record so that it can't be denied and all that. So we have more, Francesca, but what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, that the reading of the Pentagon Papers barely happened, and Mike Gravel and Daniel Ellsberg worked together to make sure that he got a copy. It was like, I can't remember the specifics of it, but it barely happened. But it was so powerful to enter this like devastating information, which was essentially that one, the war had expanded, right? It expanded to Cambodia and Laos, not just Vietnam, but that also it was not going well. They were losing. The United States was losing, and yet we were still there. I believe that was some part of the revelation, and Congress wouldn't have heard about it. You know, they would have seen it in the news, sure, but this entered in public record. The American people throughout history will know and can look back at that moment when he took that stand and when he read that in public. So again, these heroic acts that make you sort of the loose cannon, make you the weirdo, makes Bernie Sanders you were an independent. Yeah, he was an independent. That allowed him to rise above some of your partisan BS and actually, stand for something.
Yeah, and like, how much longer would it have taken? How many more lives would have been lost? Like, these are obviously incredibly important questions. And it's not to say that like any politician, especially a politician who's been in the public figure for literally decades, the public eye for literally decades, not to say that we agree with everything they did, clearly. But we can admire, especially stances like this that are so consequential when it comes to war and American imperialism and all that. Now that said, I want to take you back to the 2008 presidential campaign and a debate where he did some calling out of other candidates. I think we have time for this. Let's go to that video.
These people frighten me. They frighten me. When you have mainline candidates that turn around and say that there's nothing off the table with respect to Iran, that's code for using nukes, nuclear devices. I gotta tell you, I'm president of the United States. There will be no preemptive wars with nuclear devices. To my mind, it's immoral, and it's been immoral for the last 50 years as part of American foreign policy.
Let's use a little moderator discretion here. Senator Gravel, that's a weighty charge. Who on this stage exactly tonight worries you so much?
Well, I would say the top tier ones. The top tier ones. They've made statements. Oh, Joe, I'll include you too. You have a certain arrogance. You want to tell the Iraqis how to run their country. I got to tell you, we should just play get out. Just play get out. It's their country. They're asking us to leave, and we insist on staying there. And why not get out? What harm is it going to do? Oh, you hear the statement, well, my God, the soldiers will have died in vain. The entire deaths of Vietnam died in vain. And they're dying in vain right this very second. You know what's worse than a soldier dying in vain is more soldiers dying in vain. That's what's worse.
I mean, that's That's one of the best things I've ever seen on the debate stage, I think, right there. Okay, we don't have much more time, unfortunately, but Francesca, any other thoughts?
No, I mean, that's super heroic. And I think it's really funny that he's calling out Biden, Obama, and Hillary, who all wanted to continue the war, except for Obama, right? That's how he was distinguished. And I would argue with his longer conversation, that is what distinguished him from Clinton, was that Obama really did want to get out of Iraq and then did. And Hillary Clinton was not so sure, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, good on him. Good on him. Yeah. And what a great way to point out the most ridiculous argument for staying in a war, which is, well, then all these the people who died, would have died for nothing. It's like, so we got to kill more people. Makes no
exactly.
sense.
It's the sunk cost fallacy, but for something not important. It's not money. We're only talking about lives, basically. Yeah, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
I love that he called out Biden, and look at the moderator protecting him there, trying to get him to back down. Isn't that weird? For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.